Yeah, so okay, whatever. I got a day off. I'm tutoring a lot. It's finals and stuff, and I just got today, and then I go back to work tomorrow. I've been working like since Sunday, and then I get done early next week. But I went to bed like really early because I took like 3 of the diphenhydramines or whatever, so I get a good night's sleep because like it's kind of fried from tutoring, a lot of caffeine, and I slept really good. But then I woke up early. And then I like went out to breakfast at McDonald's. I didn't have much, a little light breakfast, like egg, sausage, that's it, no bread, some coffee and all. And now, like, what time is it now? It's like 10:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not that that fucking matters, but I'm hungry. And I started thinking, what about this hunger thing? Like, this is like a drive. I don't want to eat now. If I wait a little bit, maybe I won't be hungry for after a while, and then I could just like wait for lunch because I just want to eat so bad. I thought, what should I fucking do? And I didn't come up with a video part first, which is what I'm doing now. I thought, what if, because there's like places where dogs poop around here, if I put some dog shit into this, it's the easy thing, and you stick it in there and you kind of go like this, and like this, and like this, and like this, I would like lose my appetite. At least it would distract me for a while, and I thought, no, I'll make a video. That'll kill some time over here, but, no material, so I would just talk about any kind of shit. But then I started to think about, okay, like hunger, it's like such a drive. What about child molesters? Like they have this huge drive to have sex, but with children. They don't really have a good outlet because it's illegal or something. And then I started thinking, wow, that's kind of like hunger, except you don't have to have sex with kids, to survive. But it becomes this really strong urge, and it starts to morph. Like if it's really, really strong, you change your whole moral beliefs and somehow justify it by making up silly crap like that. And I think about DiMaggio. The videos I made about DiMaggio, well, that's what I thought about. I thought, wow. But then I thought, wow, that's kind of like the Wraith, The Wraith, what are those? Are these like creatures from, what the hell's the name of that show? Stargate. Yeah. Now Stargate, Stargate was the guy that really bought the rights to Stargate, the crappy movie, he was Jeff Weber in General Hospital. That's right, in General Hospital. Okay, a little lag in the memory because that antihistamine stuff, it still stays in you for a little bit, but the coffee seems to be working really fucking well. Anyway, yeah, so he was Jeff Weber, and then he was MacGyver, right? He was MacGyver, and then he became, Captain Jack O'Neill, right, in the Stargate thing. And Stargate was, like, pretty stupid. It was just a bunch of action and all. Really, really fucking stupid. And then, eventually, they started to get better, and they came up with this thing called the Wraith. Wraiths are sort of like vampires, except they drink the energy, they suck out the human life out of people. And I thought, wow, there's kind of some morality there. See, like, I was thinking they have this drive, like hunger or child molesting, and wow, that's kind of a strange, like, sort of thing. But that's Stargate, never really was that good. It got a little bit better, and then they had, what is that, Atlantis, Stargate Atlantis, and then occasionally it was better, but it was still kind of like, fluffy stuff, not deep, heavy stuff, but kind of fun and winking at each other, like, aren't we having fun? Even making shows about making shows, and it was fun, but nothing. But they got a new show now, and it's really fucking good. It's called Stargate Universe. And Stargate Universe deals with, like, really deep stuff. Now, it's in its first season, and already it's excellent. It deals with deep human emotions. It has, some of the characters are actually well developed, and it's got a very, very good premise. Basically, these folks get all trapped in this advanced ship from the ancients, and the ancients are these beings that lived a long, long time ago, got very far advanced, and then they ascended, out of their physical forms to somewhere else, and they left behind all this shit, and we discovered it, including stargates that you jump from here to there and stuff. They're like, they're way better than transporters, and they're much cooler because of the effects and stuff, which they also used in The Abyss. That's right. That's James Cameron movie, and now he's making that Avatar thing, and I'm kind of curious to see how that comes along, but that's another point. Like, see, what I'm really thinking about is that in this show, I mean, it's really, really amazing how much they've decided to make a serious show. And, like, they actually depict sex much more in-depth, realistically. It's not tickle porn or anything like that. I mean, it's pretty cool. And how people's feelings are involved. I mean, it had this one thing where they got these stones that you grab, and, like they're like way out in this ship, you know, and it's going in hyperspace to who knows where, and they can go through the gates to different planets and shit, but they can communicate to Earth with these stone things, and what happens is one person in the ship, which is like far, far away from Earth, grabs them, and another person on Earth grabs them, and their bodies stay put, but their consciousness shift from body to body, and then this one guy goes to see his wife, but he's like not in his body, he's in this other guy's body, and whatever, and then they're having sex, and you're seeing, and all of a sudden, the consciousness shifts, and then, wow, and it's pretty cool, but it's more than just that. It's about the feelings involved and all. It's, you know, I can't really explain it in detail. I'm just saying it's like a good show. And Comcast, you know, they actually, they bought NBC if the deal goes through. And part of NBC is the Sci-Fi Channel, which recently changed its name from SCI-FI to SYFY, FYI. Anyway, the other thing about the show is, like, the last one I saw was really, really cool. I mean, oh, and it's on demand, you know, like, I'm not feeling hungry at all. I'm really enjoying this. The thing about it is, and that dog shit thing, forget that. Oh. Okay, yeah. So anyway, the thing is, they got this guy, his name is Rush. He's a scientist guy, but he's kind of subversive and nobody knows what he's up to. And he doesn't really like the captain because the captain is like this kind of like by-the-book guy, and he's kind of moralistic. He's almost like Starfleet, but not. That's the cool thing. Because Star Trek, you know, what happened is, and by the way, Star Trek Next Generation was shit during the first 3 seasons. Every once in a while there was a good show. But Stargate Universe, right away, they got good shows. And I can just imagine what will happen in future series, available on demand on Comcast. You got to watch it. So anyway, this Rush guy, okay, not that I'm getting sidetracked at all, this Rush guy, he's a scientist guy, doesn't like the captain, and what happens is this other guy on the crew who's a real pain in the ass, a real pain in the ass, okay, and everybody hates him. And then he just kind of like commits suicide and all. And like, we don't know what the deal is, but they find the gun! They find the gun that he used to kill himself, like, hidden in the quarters of the captain or the commander of the ship. And so, like, the deal is that he has to kind of sort of take himself out of the loop. And then they find this cool planet where they find a ship, you know, from some other civilization. And it turns out that the captain and Rush and some other people go down there. But basically, it's just the captain and Rush in the scene. And it turns out that the captain finds out, okay, he finds out that the logs have been altered. They always alter those logs. And so what happens is the guy that committed suicide actually gave a suicide note, you know, in the logs that were deleted. But this other guy who's really smart, he's kind of like this really young guy, he figured all that out. And then, like, the captain confronts, you know, Rush on this planet. Now, here's how it works, okay? The ship is like cruising along, wow, in hyperspace, and they got the stargates that let them go through the, you know, through to these planets, but they can only be there for so long because there's like a range, and once you get past that range, there's no way to get back to the ship. So, like, what's really, really cool is that he confronts, you know, Rush about this, and Rush admits it to his face, and he says, yeah, I did it, and the captain says, even though it was, you know, wrong, the means justify the ends, and Rush says something like that, and then the captain grabs him by the neck, and they start fighting, and then the captain kind of beats the crap out of him, and then he's laying on the ground, and then the captain's doing some other shit, looking at the ship or whatever, and then Rush takes this big old rock, and he throws it at the captain's head, pow! And it just slams into his head, and you see this big old thing out there. And then, like, the captain, like, beats the real crap out of him even more. And he's, like, laying there, man. He's unconscious. And then, like, the next thing you see, because, like, the captain's this really straight by-the-book guy. Captain is going back to the Stargate at the very last minute. And Rush doesn't come through. And the crew says, what about Rush? What about Rush? And he said there was a rock slide. See, that explains the rock bump on his head. And Rush didn't make it. Oh. That's cool stuff. It's really handled well. I mean, a hell of a lot better than I'm explaining this. And then what happens is they cut back to the planet, and Rush is like kind of waking up from unconsciousness, and he's trapped on this planet. And it looks like a really nasty planet. It's just like a desert, you know, and stuff. But of course there's that ship there, and we kind of figured that he's like a major character. Somehow he's going to find a way to get that ship to work or whatever. Anyway, it's a really cool show, and I'm really hungry. I'm going to eat something.